Hi, friends. I'm Trisha Goyer, and this is my friend Sherry. We are talking about Wendell, the humpback whale. We are on week 4 of Fun Fishy Friday. I'm a homeschooling mom. I've written lots of books, and I have had the best time writing with Sherry.
Yeah, we've had so much fun writing these fun stories about five unique animals from the ocean and their adventures. And we are just enjoying coming to you guys each week and highlighting one of our animals from the book. And so this week is week 4, which is Wendell the humpback whale.
I want to know about whales, Sherry, because I know when we were researching, you had so many fun facts to share about humpback whales and whales in general. And I know inside the book we have fun little areas, Ocean Notion that actually has facts about whales. But I bet, Sherry, you have some wonderful things that you can share with us about whales.
Yeah, so whales are mammals, which means they are like dogs or bears or other animals that have similar features, like they have hair or fur, and they do. They have small little tufts of hair. They nurse their young with mother's milk. There are other parts of their inner ear and the way that they're designed that are similar. And so we classify them together as mammals, and mammals have similar features. And so we're going to talk about some of those features, but humpback whales in particular are unique. They're part of a group of whales called baleen whales, which means they filter their food out of the water, tiny plankton, like small shrimp called krill and other small fish and other things that are tiny, and they use what look like combs. Those combs in their mouths are called baleen that filter through and comb through the water and pull out their food, and they swallow massive amounts of krill or other fish as they gulp their food. And they're able to communicate. They communicate with squeaks and whistles. And humpback whales, particularly the male humpback whales, can sing beautiful songs. And so all of those things are covered in our story about Wendell. But what I wanted to focus on, something that's really fascinating about whales being mammals, is we look at them and we think they're very fish-like, that they swim under the water and they have a tail that looks fishy-like, and so it's kind of confusing to call them a mammal. But first of all, they're air breathers. They don't have gills like fish do. But another thing that's unique about them is that their backbones are designed to move in an up and down motion. This is called dorsoventral because dorso is the backside and ventro is the tummy side, and they move this way, whereas fish move laterally from side to side. That's a very, very major difference in the structure of their backbone. And so, because humans are classified as mammals, we have similar body shape and design and style. We're organized that way. Our bodies move much more easily, and our backbones move in that dorsoventral way. So if you were to go underwater and pretend you were a mermaid or something, you would move your body in the same way that a whale does and not side to side like a fish does. So that's a unique difference. Is God made whales' bodies that way because they breathe air. Now they have to go from under the water up to the surface and back down and up to the surface. So they change their depth in the water a lot. That means that having their fin oriented to do this is easier for them to swim in that motion, whereas fish prefer to stay in one level in the oceans where this is similar temperature, similar pressure. They're not getting a lot of change. And so swimming side to side is better for a fish so it can stay at that level. That's the lateral swimming. So that's a very unique difference between mammals who breathe air and fish that get oxygen through the water through gills. God designed them uniquely to do that. They have different features that help them get what they need to survive in the water.
And I love that we were able to take Wendell through a journey from the time he was a tiny, well, I say tiny little baby, but Sherry, but how big are tiny little baby humpback whales?
Tiny little baby humpback whales can be the size of a car. So it's amazing that I don't know exactly how much they would weigh, but they're pretty big. They're pretty big, hundreds of pounds at birth. because their mothers are the size of a school bus or bigger. So they're tiny in comparison, but not tiny compared to humans at all.
Yeah, and it was so fascinating. As I was helping write this, I learned so many things. Also, because they're mammals, they feed milk to their babies. They also have hair, so they have right around their little blowhole, they have hair. I felt like I was learning so much as I was helping to write. We were working together writing about Wendell. Sherry, do
Yes.
you have a craft or something for us to look at? We're going to do that now.
Yeah, we can start. We can do that now.
I love
Sure.
it.
So one of the things that I wanted that I think would be fun that I want you to remember as we're talking about this, we want you to understand that whales are mammals and remembering their unique body shape. Because again, we want you to know that they breathe air. And that's part of the story of Wendell as he goes through his adventures and learning how to live as a whale and how to survive. And so we have included a link to be able to make your own whale tail in comparison to a shark tail. Now, sharks are fish, so sharks will have that lateral swimming. And so it's going to look something like this. And there's instructions. This is our shark tail model. You'll cut those pieces out. You're going to tape the shark tail together so that it will look like this. And you will see this side to side lateral, let me hold it this way, lateral swimming motion.
That's a
This
big
is
shark tail. I like
that's a
that.
big shark tail. It makes it fun. So you'll print out two sheets of paper onto cardstock, and the instructions are come along with that. And then you will make your whale tail. Now, the whale tail is designed, like we said, to go this way, dorsoventral. And so it's going to look like this. You're going to orient the tail. Let me hold it this way. Instead of it being up and down like a shark tail, it's this way compared to the body. So the animal swims like
Mm.
this. And so you can hang the two and see how they move in the air differently compared to one another. Very, very different design for different bodies that have different features that need, whether they're air breathers or breathe through the water. And so you can make your own whale tail and shark tail and remember Wendell as he's swimming in the water.
I love that. And we were able to do that with some kids. We were together in a group up in Washington
Washington
State, and it
State,
was
that's
so
right.
much fun seeing them. And they had so many facts about whales and sharks as I was going around. Kids were telling me facts. I bet you know some facts about whales and sharks. And now you can have these crafts that you will have and you could show people when they come over or when you go to co-op or when you go to a family member's house or a friend's house and you explain more about whales and sharks. And
That's
when
right. And you'll
oh,
learn a lot more about them when you read the story of Wendell, too, because there's a lot more information about Wendell and whales in the story.
there is absolutely so much information, so
Yes.
many ocean notions. You can just go through and read all the ocean notions and learn all the facts and then go back and read the story or vice versa. It was so fun to share the story of Wendell and as he grew up, and then all those facts about whales are in there. And as I was thinking through the writing and the sideways motion and the up and down motion, I started thinking about what I do just in all my different types of writing in my books, from books for adults, books for little kids. And there's actually two types of writing, and it has to do with pacing.
Mhm.
So maybe the sharks might swim a little bit faster in the water than whales. And so we can call that the side to side motion. We could call it shark writing. So when I was working on this book with Sherry, anytime we had places where it was getting really intense and action was happening and things were happening, and I'll read an example in a minute, we would make very, very short sentences. So it's action sentences like chase or race, exciting movements. The sentences are really short. And so that's like shark writing, side to side, really fast, really fast. You're moving from sentence to sentence as things really speed up. And that's pacing. You want things to have a lot of short sentences, exciting words when you're writing a fast action sentence or paragraph. But then there's other moments in our story where things slow down, almost like a
So
whale.
really fast, though, you're saying that. And I'm thinking when you're excited and running around and super happy, you're breathing faster and you can only get so many words out at a time. So you're
Yeah,
speaking in short sentences. So I love that imagery that you're giving us so that when we want to do our writing and make it exciting and fast-paced, we'll use short breathy sentences fast to get our information out in small, easy to read bits at a time.
absolutely. If you ran down the street and ran back, you wouldn't be able to sit there and a whole long drawn out sentence. You're gonna
That's
be
right.
winded and be able to talk really, really quickly. But
Yes, Speedy
whales,
Shark.
yeah, speedy shark, speedy shark. But whales almost imagines, I mean, they do move pretty quickly, but not the same pace. They're slower, up and down movement. It's smooth storytelling. So they're moving smooth. And think about the smooth words as they come out, almost like a whale tail going up, and they break the surface and they splash and go down again, taking another deep breath. And so we can have longer sentences, more descriptive sentences. So I'm going to read this part that has both of these types of sentences or storytelling in it. Now, there's some exciting things that happen. I'm not going to give it all away, but I'm going to read a part of their journey, and there's kind of a bit of danger in here. So I'm going to read that. And as I'm reading, you think about which are the slower sentences, the whale sentences, or the shark sentences. Okay. So as I'm reading, it says, looming under the surface of the water, a large shadow grows closer. It is another humpback whale. She is a bit smaller than Wendell's mother, but also an adult. Wendell follows his mother toward the other whale as she calls to them. She gently waves her long pectoral fin in a greeting. This new whale is a friend. The three whales travel together in a pod. Because Wendell is still small, they move slowly. The trip will be a challenging one, and Wendell's mother is getting weaker. She will not eat during the entire trip. His mother continues to provide nourishing milk for Wendell as he gets stronger. Orcas. The little pod of three swims with purpose, staying close together. Clicks and whistles and calls go back and forth between them. These sounds help the whales keep close as they brave the long journey full of many dangers. Wendell hears a faint, far off sound. High pitched squeals torpedo through the water, a symphony of danger. His mother and her humpback friend arch their backs. They slowly lift their tails, move their long pectoral fins downward, and raise their heads. Together they move their bodies to each side of Wendell, pressing in to shield him. Wendell's heartbeat quickens. The strange calls grow louder. His eyes widen as black and white creatures circle close. An orcapod. These mighty creatures open their wide mouths and white teeth flash. Danger! So, did you notice as the danger came, the sentences got a little bit shorter and quicker? But at the beginning, as they're just meeting a new friend, we had long, drawn out sentences. So, that's the difference between whale type of slow moving sentences and the quicker, breathy, quick shark sentences.
That's so fun. And I even heard as you were reading how there were different squeals and sounds. And that's something that at the end of each of our stories, we talk more about a bigger point of view, a bigger issue. And so the communication, the special communication
Mhm.
that God has given whales to be able to communicate with clicks and whistles and squeals so that they can understand when there's danger or when they're safe or when there's someone nearby coming. When I say someone, I mean another whale, so that they can communicate. Or the whale songs that humpback whales will sing for hours, beautiful, unique songs that you can hear for miles. We don't even know why they do that, but we think it has to do with calling their mate so that they can find each other. But that unique ability to communicate is something that can remind us that we have been given an amazing, unique ability to communicate with God. And so through prayer, He has given us this ability to communicate with Him. And we want to use that communication to connect well with Him. And so I'm using my shark tale as a bookmark here. That actually makes a pretty good bookmark. And the takeaway from this story is just like whales, we have a unique language to communicate given to us by our Creator. And so enjoy reading the story of Wendell for yourself and finding out about his adventures and if he's able to get away from those orcas and what that means for us and how we can think more about that story, how they're beautifully made and how we are beautifully made too.
I love that. And I love we have in here Jeremiah 29:12. And it says, God says, then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. Isn't it wonderful that the same God who designed the complex language of whales is eager to listen to your prayers? And that's just so amazing to think that even right now, God can hear the whale songs, but he can also hear your prayers. And I love, Sherry, how you were talking about communication, and God wants us to communicate him. When someone is hurt or we're worried about something, sometimes we think, okay, this is a time to pray, and that's a good thing to do. But God would love to hear your songs too, your happy songs, maybe your quick, breath filled songs with short sentences as you're running up and down the street, or sometimes your slow prayers. As you are really maybe worried about something or praying for a friend. And I think that's just
Mm.
so amazing that even our communication can change too with God. And it's been so fun to think about Wendell. Oh, he is a great one to follow through, to hear his story, and to hear all the amazing things that God has done when he designed whales. And then the sharks learning about that just blows my mind. I didn't ever think about that before, Sherry.
Well, you can learn so much more when you read the story about Wendell, and we hope that you'll have time to make your own shark tale and whale tale and explore the differences between how these guys have been made by God.
And friends, make sure you go and you check out Wonders of the Ocean Realm. It has 5 stories of 5 different sea creatures. So Wendell is our 4th one, but they go down at the different levels of the ocean. So as we've shared in some of the other videos, we have Astrid, who is at the very top, and she is a multicolored sea star. We have Maximus, a peacock mantis shrimp, who's very cool. Dexter, the mimic octopus who loves copying other creatures in so many ways, and then Wendell, the humpback whale. And in our next video, we're going to share about a creature that's way, way down deep. Luna, the deep sea anglerfish. And if you look at her photos or illustrations, she is pretty scary looking, but she's also very cool. And I learned so much about Luna.
Yeah, so join us next week when we do some fun activities and talk more about Luna and her story.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.